This is Real Estate Radio. The Erik Hatch team is highly motivated, innovative, and knowledgeable for all things real estate. This is Real Estate Radio.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen and real estate fans. Thanks so very much for tuning into Real Estate Radio. My name's Erik Hatch, your host this morning. I'm a realtor with Hatch Realty, and if you ever want to stop by and see us, we're located at 1205 16th Avenue South in Fargo. That's kitty corner from CJ's Kitchen, just across the street from Luna Coffee and Bernie's Liquors, and just down the block from Dwayne's House of Pizza. So whether you're hungry or thirsty, or you want some real estate, come to the one neighborhood that can supply all that for you. Now, here at the top of the hour, I want to share with you some excitement here because 2014 is now wrapped up. We are finished with 2014, and if you were paying attention on Facebook, if we're Facebook friends, or if you follow our website or anything, we have excitingly given back over $92,000 to heroes in 2014. An absurd amount of money from our pockets to the pockets of the clients and the do-gooders and the people in this community who've wanted to save some money and have worked with Hatch Realty. Now, in addition, we've hopefully given them a powerful and great real estate experience, but money sometimes speaks pretty loudly. And $92,000 is some world-changing money, in my opinion. Yes, it's spread out amongst, hundreds of clients realistically, but that makes a big difference in people's lives. And the people who are heroes who get that money back are people who are veterans, firefighters, police officers, people who work in education or healthcare, or just some people who are do-gooders in the community. It's our simple way to say thank you and our simple way to reinvest in the people who are already investing in this community. Now, Hatch's Heroes is still happening in 2015, so if you want your opportunity, whether you're buying or selling, you can save some great cash. All you need to do is go to livefargomoorhead.com, sign up, and we'll get rolling from there, whether you're selling or buying. And heck, while you're at livefargomoorhead.com, take a quick gander and find out what your home is worth. We have a quick home valuation tool for you. Makes it nice and easy. But I am elated at what we have in the show today. We have Mayor Rae Williams from Moorhead here to rock and roll with us, to share with us some great things that are happening in Moorhead. But before we get to Rae, let's find out what's happening with real estate news this week.
Americans chose late-night TV host Jimmy Fallon as the most desirable celebrity neighbor for 2014, according to the recently released 7th Annual Zillow Celebrity Neighbor Survey. Fallon nabbed 11% of the vote, dethroning last year's most desirable neighbor duo, Miranda Lambert and Blake Shelton. In order to be Fallon's neighbor, you'd have to move to Saginaw, New York, where Fallon owns a 19th century farmhouse that sits on more than 2 acres. After Fallon, the survey found the most desirable celebrity neighbors are Miranda Lambert and Blake Shelton, Jennifer Lawrence, Sofia Vergara, Robin Roberts, and LeBron James. On the other hand, topping the list of worst neighbors for this year, reality star Kim Kardashian and singer Kanye West, according to the survey. The couple beat out the cast of Here Comes Honey Boo Boo, Justin Bieber, Miley Cyrus, Lady Gaga, and Alexander Rodriguez as worst neighbors. And that's what's making real estate news this week. You're listening to Erik Hatch with Real Estate Radio.
Breaking in, shaping up. As promised, in studio with us from Moorhead, the mayor, the big chief, the head honcho in charge, Rae Williams. So good morning, Rae.
Good morning. Thanks for having me,
Yeah,
Erik.
you got it. We're thrilled to have you on air with us. We were chatting just a little bit off air. You say you're from Minot. That's your home stomping ground, right?
Yep. Born, raised there, whole schmear.
Okay,
Yep.
and then you ran before it got really crazy.
Before I got, well, last minute. I ran at the last minute.
Great. So how long have you been in the Fargo Moorhead community now? When did this become your new home and residence?
Let's see. We got married, right out of college, and then did about 1.5 years in Jamestown, and then moved to Fargo.
Okay.
Actually.
Okay, and then...
And I've actually been a resident of Moorhead for about 20 years, a little
That's
over
great.
20 years.
That's great. And then your background is in accounting and CPA, is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
I had my own public accounting firm. I was public accounting the whole time frame, but my own firm and then some regional firms in town.
So what prompted you then to jump into politics and government? Because that Boy, a leap from accounting to and working in public accounting to all of a sudden jumping into government officiating is a bit of a step. What was the surge to do that?
I just had a different vision for Moorhead, and I got to admit, I had 3 other people that I was trying to talk into running.
Yep.
And they did not, for a variety of reasons. They were all excited, but did not. And then I just knew that. So for me, it was just a last-minute-y kind of thing. Truthfully, it's really the more I'm into this, all mayors should be CPAs. That's all I can say. It's very handy.
I suppose your nose is in budgets and balancing and figuring out numbers every day, isn't it?
Well, I'm in comfort zone as soon as we do that. So we're like, okay, I'm cool, where everybody else kind of glazes over. And
Wow. Well, we've seen, at least in Fargo, a bit of a tumultuous turn here. And I don't mean that in a negative sense, but if we couple the floodplain with Mayor Wallaker's death, Fargo is going through some change right now.
Yeah.
What's to be said of Moorhead? Because you said you have vision and passions and hopes for Moorhead. I'm curious, where do you want to go with this? What are your dreams? What's the platform? What do people need to know about where you're going to take Moorhead?
Well, for me, it was a lot more about changing a culture. Moorhead, we had a tendency to be kind of a backseat, but yet we all loved living in Moorhead.
Sure.
And so for me, it was about let's talk about it. Let's make sure that Moorhead becomes what we want it to be. When I started door knocking, because I did it kind of last minute. What was clear was people didn't know, didn't feel connected to their government. And so that's one big piece that I spent time doing. But, really, this is a great, great time to be mayor in Moorhead. It's a growing community. Frankly, 2013 was a great year, which was before my time, so I can't take credit for that. And frankly, I always say I don't take credit for any of it. It's always a mixture of everything. But 2014 looks like it's going to be even a better year. I've seen some preliminary numbers. It looks like we're a good 11% over what we were last year. And last year we pretty much doubled the amount of units that we had in 2012.
Wow.
So it's going to be a good time. I'm going to be mayor for 5 years. And I fully expect every 5 years, that whole 5 years will be just plain growth, frankly.
I love that optimism. Again, in studio with us from Moorhead, Mayor Rae Williams, and we're chatting simply about Moorhead and the growth that we're seeing. What would you say right now is the key to Moorhead's growth?
It's just a really, really good community to be living in. I think people are recognizing that. They're checking it out more than they had before. I got to admit, the flood is a thing. All of our undeveloped land, and where people are building houses, they have never been in the floodplain, won't be in the floodplain.
As a realtor, I take this big giant breath and sigh of relief to hear that the new developments in Moorhead are not in the floodplain, because boy, it just creates a headache when it is, and it's added cost for the homeowner, and that's the last thing that we want. It's money that's going to build up land that we just wish was higher already. So
well, and it's not like it used to be. It used to be, you would get flood insurance and you'd spend $300-400 or something like that. It was sort of like for me, I did it twice. I did it in 2009 and I did it in 1997.
Sure. It
was kind of like, I'm going to panic. No, I'll buy it. What the heck? And but now it's more like $6,000 a year.
Well, yeah,
it's huge.
You can start at the preliminary rate of about $400, and then that gets grandfathered in, and so it increases 15% a year until it reaches its premium. And premiums are anywhere from $2,000 up to $6,000 or more. So it's a crazy spectrum.
We have a few houses that we're waiting for certification on that are $6,000 a year.
Ouch.
And they're not mansions. They're houses.
Well, my gosh, there is a changing landscape in our community, and we know that Moorhead's change and Moorhead's growth is going to certainly do a great job of being a part of that. Rae, stick around with us. We're going to come back here in just a quick minute. We're going to take a break. While you're on that break, head to livefargomoorhead.com. Check out what your home is worth, or give us a call at 369-4839. You've been listening to Real Estate Radio. I'm your host, Erik Hatch. We'll be right back.
Stick around. More Real Estate Radio with Erik Hatch after this.
Don't survive. I was born free.
This is Real Estate Radio. The Erik Hatch team is highly motivated, innovative, and knowledgeable for all things real estate. This is Real Estate Radio.
Welcome back to Real Estate Radio. As always, I'm your host, Erik Hatch, and in studio with us, we still have from Moorhead, Mayor Rae Williams, and Rae and I are getting to be close friends. We've been chatting now for 6 or 7 minutes. But Rae, in all seriousness, I want to know, as somebody who's lived in Moorhead for 20 years, what are some of your favorite hot spots? If you want to go out to eat, for example, where's that spot that everybody needs to know and needs to go?
Well, everybody has their own favorites.
Of course.
When I walk into, even this is pre-mayor, frankly, there's certain places like Usher's.
Oh, my favorite, yeah.
They know when I'm there. Thai Orchid is a common one for me. Those are my more common ones that I go to.
Sure.
If I want to do a fast food one, our family's really into Crave Burgers, our latest thing for fast food. So there's a real variety of restaurants in our town. But, the one thing about living next to Fargo is, and being in a bigger community, you can always be everywhere. So that's really not an issue.
How about for shopping? If you have a few spare moments and you need to pick something up and you wanna, whether it be clothing or crafts or books or whatever it may be, are there some hot spots in Moorhead people need to know about?
I spend most of my time actually at the Moorhead Center Mall just because my office is there, and so and I almost buy almost all my clothes there, frankly, and I did before.
It's all Herberger's, isn't it?
No, for me, it's actually, I'm this size, so as I'm kind of a CJ Banks kind of person. In fact, they always say, "Oh, there, she's wearing another one of them."
So you are the Moorhead Center Mall model. If somebody's saying, what are you wearing today?
I actually did that once too. They have like a little event thing they do every now and then. Yeah.
How fun. Well, I'm curious, as you see Moorhead growing, and Moorhead had a few tougher years. As the recession hit, Moorhead didn't see vibrant growth. But as you said, 2013 was a very good year, and 2014 is outdoing 2013. Do you expect that trajectory to continue?
I don't know why not. I mean, I think the whole area is growing, and people are just seeing Moorhead as one of the choices to live in, and so I would expect we would. But we're gonna know that last decade we're not that bad of a we grew 18%.
That's great.
In the last decade time frame.
That's great.
And Fargo grew 16%.
Oh,
so
really?
when you talk about growth in the area, it's not just that we're falling in within, feeding off of what something Fargo does. We're a big part of that too, and I would expect that we'll probably do more than 18% this decade. We're close to 10% already.
Oh my gosh!
If I figure out my numbers.
That's exciting growth. And you're talking about additional units and expanded communities, or what? When you're figuring those numbers for growth, are you talking about just housing or number of people, number of residents?
Number of residents.
Okay.
Yeah. Typically, Moorhead hasn't had a whole lot of apartment buildings, but that's one area that we're doing some huge growth in. And I know that will continue at least 2 more years because I've seen their plans, and which is good because quite often what happens is our students live in Fargo.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, because we didn't have apartments
Of
really.
course.
And only so many houses you can rent out.
Right.
And so I think we'll see those pretty full with our students in it, and that will, and some really interesting ones. The Town Site Center has a new, which used to be a high school.
Okay.
And it's just the most interesting building with these huge windows. Is doing a 50-unit piece on 8th Street.
Sure.
And so we have a real different dynamic. It's not just the regular apartment buildings that you kind of see going in. It's a real variety. And then, of course, single family homes, quite a few of those.
Well, I love to hear about the growth that Moorhead's experiencing, and to hear that over the last decade it's grown 18%. That's exciting and a bit staggering in a sense. I can't wait to see what's to come. And I actually have a prediction, and this is one of the ways in which we were able to connect. Is Josh Boucher on my team is a friend of yours as well, and involved in the political world. And Josh and I were both speaking of, boy, we think the next 2 years in terms of real estate are Moorhead's years.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah, really, that's my prediction is we're going to see not just a resurgence of Moorhead, but a complete and total boom in Moorhead like we haven't seen before. And my reason for that prediction, and I'm curious your thoughts on it, but obviously West Fargo's running out of space and running out of places. Yep. In addition, special assessments are through the roof, and lot prices are shockingly high.
Yep.
Fargo deals with floodplain issues, and so to get out of the floodplain issues, you obviously have to build that land up, which means more special assessments and a higher price lot. So for new construction or even for existing homes, I think this is Moorhead's year in 2015 and 2016. That's my thought.
Oh, totally. We got in the recession, we got the time frame. It takes a while, but in 2013, we got almost 100 lots back from some developers, 4 separate developers.
Sure.
And I know they thought that they would be take a while to sell, but actually they're pretty much all sold or optioned right now.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, we're going to see some great growth. Thank you for coming into the studio, spending some time with us this morning. Again, Mayor Rae Williams of Moorhead, Minnesota. God bless you. Thank you so much. And stick around. We have a couple final thoughts. This is Real Estate Radio with Erik Hatch.
Thanks.
All right, my friends, we are almost out of time, so I want to close with a couple of final thoughts. I talk about livefargomoorhead.com all the time. I hope you've gone there and investigated it, checked it out. But really, it's your one-stop shop for everything you're looking for if real estate is ever in your future. You can find out what your home is worth. You can look at current homes that are on the market. You can learn about our team, because certainly the way in which we approach real estate is different than most in terms of using a team approach. Or you can find out about our Hatches Heroes program, again, which can save you $1,000 in your real estate transactions if you buy and sell with us. So you can have a chance to save some serious cash. You can learn about your house. You can learn about the community. There are ample things that you can do, and it's all at livefargomoorhead.com. So head there, check it out, and give it a quick gander. The second thought is this. We're obviously in 2015 now, and I do believe, as I shared with Rae, that we're going to see a resurgence of Moorhead. Moorhead hasn't had the number of growth. I mean, she talked about percentages, and she's spot on, but the actual number of people, we've seen a big boom in West Fargo and Fargo. But with this looming floodplain issue changing the way in which landscape happens, which available land is becoming harder and harder to find, and realistically, Moorhead is doing pretty stinking great economically, you have a great opportunity to take advantage of different places to live. Rare can communities share 2 states. Rare can communities have different options for you in terms of school districts and in terms of landscape and in terms of just the way in which you want to live. And we have that opportunity in the Fargo-Moorhead community. If you're one of the listeners in our surrounding communities, boy, you have an opportunity as well to really get some top dollar for your houses, because we're finding that as Fargo-Moorhead grows and we're starting to run out of space, a lot of people are now looking to rural places. And I have to be honest, rural properties traditionally don't appreciate quite like they do in an urban area like Fargo-Moorhead and West Fargo. But if you're out in a small town, your house has all of a sudden possibly appreciated. There could be some great equity in that place for you, and that's an exciting thing. If you want to find out what your home is worth or just chat with us, give us a call, 369-4839, or head to livefargomoorhead.com. And that's it. Thanks so very much for listening to Real Estate Radio this week. I've been your host, Erik Hatch, on the Mighty 790 KFGO.
'Cause I'm gonna make this place yours.